Go ahead and share.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gooniverse. Welcome to the first episode of the new arc of Season 5 of My Hero Academia. It was titled Off to Endeavor Agency. I'm joined, John Kearns, joined today by lovely people, Kayla Nash and Bethany Nash, Tim Farley, and coming at you live via satellite from a remote location, Brianna Farley. So, how we doing today, guys?
Pretty good.
Good.
Wonderful.
Not at work.
Tim, did you say Wonderball?
Said wonderful.
All right. So, first episode of the new arc starts the Endeavor's Agency arc. Episode was very fucking good.
Yes, very eventful.
Very eventful. Lots of stuff happened. It was all important. Gonna go right into the episode breakdown. The episode opens with a flashback of the fight in Kyushu City, where Endeavor fought the Advanced Nomu. In the present day part of this scene, Hawks is on the phone with Dobby. Dobby accuses Hawks of tracing the call. Hawks is pretending to align himself with meta liberation ideals. Hawks asks the Hero Commission to send all communications in code from now on. So, back to present day. Hawks visits Best Jeanist. Best Jeanist lost a lung when he was attacked, but plans to continue his hero work soon, saying that there are many people waiting for me to reform them. To me, in my opinion, it is implied that Hawks actually attacks Best Jeanist, because when he said that, Hawks responded, "That's too bad," and pulled out his feather katana sword thing that he uses. So, there's part one of the episode. Let's go around.
I think Hawks is a bad guy. As much as I want to try to give him benefit of the doubt, I really do think that he's playing both sides of the coin very well. But that's just my opinion, because when he was with Best Jeanist, I was like, this mother trucker is literally going to kill him. It's and when Best Jeanist said that he had somebody to reform, I was like, he's definitely talking about Bakugo. Can't tell me he wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you can.
Okay, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think that the feather that he's I think he just left the feather somewhere. I don't think he attacked Best Jeanist or anything, because in the phone call with Dobby, he says find someone to attack that's not the number one.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone attacks Best Jeanist, very few people would know because he's missing.
Yeah.
So, they would just find him beaten up somewhere. I kind of feel like it was kind of smart that he went to Best Jeanist. Because they can attack, the League of Villains they're pretty set on attacking without killing. If the heroes get hurt in the process, that's just part of the process. They're more worried about causing destruction and deaths to, the people rather than the heroes. Because even on some level, they're still the same because they're all metas.
Yeah.
It also seemed like, Bethany, you took most of the words out of my mouth for this segment.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dobby also mentioned about the loyalty to not only the League of Villains, but also the Meta Liberation Front, or whatever it's called. And that makes me think, does Shigaraki know what Dobby's doing? Is Shigaraki involved? Is the League of Villains in league with them as well? Or is Dobby doing this shit on his own? But everything you said, Bethany, I completely agree. It was smart to attack Best Jeanist. That doesn't mean he killed him. It just shows that it's like getting into a game.
Yeah, you gotta be.
Oh.
You gotta get like
You gotta
jumped in.
stomp somebody out
Yeah.
to get the loyalty.
Mhm. And the more that I watch it, I'm kind of getting the sense, like, it's probably that he is just a whole villain,
Well,
but I kind
before
of feel like Dobby's not as bad as we think he is.
Tim talked, I was gonna ask Bethany if you don't think Hawks is a bad guy simply because you're thirsty. But
No.
if Tim agrees, then I retract that statement.
Yeah,
Brianna.
I agree both with Tim and Bethany. I was thinking the same thing, how Dobby told him to attack someone who isn't the number one hero. And so when he like said, "Oh, that's too bad," to Best Genius, I was like, "Oh, is he gonna kill him or attack him, or what's going to happen?" Because I thought like killing him would be a little extreme, but like, does he think like he's already hurt, he's not going to be that good of a hero from now on? Like, he's not going to be able to be the same capacity of a hero that he was before? And I did think he was talking about Bakugo, and he said he had people to reform, but like probably other people as well. I don't know. He just thinks like now he's going to be more of a teacher than like a
Yeah.
kind of like All Might did.
Also,
What was the other thing? Oh, and Tim mentioned how Dobby wanted him to prove his loyalty to the Liberation. So that was interesting, because is it something that Shigaraki is doing also or not? That is a good point. And then probably in the next part I have something to say as well.
Also, I wanted to mention, and I don't know if this is the right place to, but I don't really know where else to put it. I think it's not going to be all for one, or one for all, whatever his name is. I don't think it's going to be Shigaraki. I don't think it's going to be anybody else. I think whatever disaster's coming is going to be ultimately masterminded and manipulated and controlled by Dobby. I think Dobby is a bigger character than we're being shown.
Is it possible at all that Dobby is actually playing Shigaraki?
That's
what
I was
I'm thinking. Because, like, he makes it a
And
valid
does that mean
point.
that we're going to get a Dobby versus Shigaraki fight? Because fuck yes.
Love to see it. Because, like, Dobby made it a point to make sure that Hawks is showing his allegiance. Like, making sure that that point is proven. But we've seen before, just to get in the League of Villains, all you have to do is kind of believe the same thing they believe.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kayla, you and me, same page. Right
You think
before.
he's bad?
Oh
Same
yeah.
page?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You think Hawks is bad?
Huh?
You think Hawks is bad?
Oh yeah.
Nope.
There's just
Okay, I'm not going to skip ahead. You go ahead.
there's just something about just like the whole
He's so fucking cocky.
he's cocky. It's like,
Like more than Bakugo.
yes,
I
he's
think.
very shady too. Like, why would you go? You know, Best Genius is hurt. There's so many other heroes out there, so you're gonna go after the weakest one.
You could have
knowing
fucked up
that you could
Slide and Go,
possibly
the
kill him.
weakest
He
hero of all
explained
time.
it perfectly, and it was smart.
It was a smart
This
move
kid,
because he
this
missed
kid
it.
came from nothing, and he is basically the product of the hero agency. He has to be shady
He is
because
not Batman.
his wings have micro devices in them.
Oh, no.
He is not Batman. Okay,
No,
he cannot.
Batman's parents were dead.
Well, and he came
And
from
he
nothing.
wasn't raised.
Okay, but
Well, we don't know about Hawks' parents.
Hawks?
No.
Well, they were.
Yes, we do.
He
Do we?
like
Yeah.
he sold himself to the
Currently?
agency. Yes, he
Huh.
sold himself to the agency for his parents to be taken care of. So he's like
Yeah.
basically indebted to the agency. That's why he's doing all the stuff he has to do for them.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with being cocky.
But if you're indebted to something, then you're
Yes,
obviously
yes.
like gonna try to take it down.
Not necessarily.
Okay,
Is
well,
that-
moving on. Moving on.
Well, Hawks, I don't think he's bad. At the very beginning, I didn't like him. I thought his character was arrogant, and I didn't understand that whole thing with like I'm the number 2 hero, and it seemed like he was like being mean to Endeavor, and I was like, what the hell's going on?
Who
But
wouldn't
then, exactly. But then every episode since then, though, I'm not like I don't love him, but I don't think he's bad, like at all.
I mean, I like Hawks. I don't not like him.
I think he's like, playing.
I don't know, man. Something.
But I don't think that Michaela or John's feelings on him are invalid. I think that that's the whole point
I'm waiting.
of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, at least part of the whole thing.
I love the
you're
fact that I
supposed to
don't
be
know what's
thinking.
going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Later in the episode, though, I feel it proves my point as to why he's not a bad person.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. We'll talk more on it when we get there.
Okay.
So right before the new intro, which is a mega bop and a half, we get a very short scene where Hawks is waiting for Dobby and talks about how he's late and how this wasn't like he was before. And Hawks sort of begins to suspect that Dobby is possibly ducking him. And we find out that it's New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
After the intro, we get a very cute but then hilarious scene with Deku and his mother. She talks about... Well, okay, so it starts where they're watching like the New Year's Eve broadcast on TV, and Deku mentions Eri and how she wrote him a letter. And it was the cutest thing ever. The letter from Eri reads, Mr. Deku, your dancing, spelled Dansing, and singing was amazing. Thanks for the fun show. The candy, spelled Kandy, apple, was yummy. I'll do my best with my quirk. Deku's mom begins sobbing uncontrollably. And in something that I have never seen before, but I'm sure it's happened before, they actually kind of break the fourth wall a little bit and have Deku talk about how much fluid is coming out of his mother with her tears.
Yeah. Deku says, Mom, can you stop? The people below us are going to think there's a
the roof
leak.
is leaking. Yeah. Like, I've never heard them mention the over-the-top cartooniness of anime tears. I really liked that kind of fourth wall breaky scene.
Yeah.
Deku's mom reminisces out loud about Deku's childhood and talks about how now she's not as scared as she was before, or is not as nervous about him as before. This leads to them both crying so hard that it floods over the balcony of their apartment. So I immediately said, that's where he gets it from.
Same. My notes said, now we know where Deku gets his sensitivity from.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very cute scene of Deku's mom going full mom mode, making sure he has everything and will be safe and healthy while Deku's trying to get on the bus to go to the city where Endeavor's agency is. Hawks meets up with the sliding hero from the last episode and an unknown figure. The unknown figure is using micro devices installed in Hawks to record what he sees and hears in an attempt to expose everything about the heroes, quote unquote. Thoughts?
Again,
Well,
I will say, Hawks is a bad guy.
The sliding hero was saying how, like, you're late and I outrank you and everything. And the figure we do not know, who is on the computer, is saying, actually, you're completely wrong because he's the number 2 hero and he has more access to information that we can use. So you basically need to shut your mouth and know your role.
I kind
AKA
of like.
Rock.
I kept looking at him, thinking that the unknown figure looks a lot like Ozawa
Yes.
with the hair and the dark
I
clothes.
also thought from the preview from last week, we saw Dobby in the cloak and everything.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe that's Dobby.
Yeah,
Is
you
Dobby the leader
But
of
no, like, that guy
That-
had
this
long
group-
hair.
I said, "Oh, I wondered
It's
who that
weird.
was on the laptop," and you were like, "That was Dobby," and I'm like, "No, it wasn't." So it's somebody
This
new.
is why I think that's why I think Hawks is a bad guy. Because we don't know who that guy is. He could literally be anybody, and I'm like, has to be a bad guy.
We don't, but the commission might.
Can we talk about how Slide and Go is the most worthless hero of all time?
What does he even do?
Yes.
He slides.
He slides and goes.
Wow, great. You're worse than grape juice. Fuck off.
He's very good at the cha-cha slide.
Now, like,
That guy
I
with
was talking to Tim about it. I was talking to Tim, and I said it's very obvious why this Meta Liberation Army recruited the sliding hero, because he's fucking stupid. He'll believe
Yes,
anything that they tell him.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to me, John, that they recruit. I think that they just put their ideology out there, and whoever comes. So he's stupid enough to believe their ideology.
Yeah, I'm kind of. Yeah, so now I'm thinking maybe they just think Hawks is dumb enough to align himself with them.
I have a question for all of you, because I know Bethany and Michaela
Okay,
and
after your question, I want to hear the thoughts of the other people, though.
Brianna watched this all recently. Brianna watched it twice.
I did.
Did we hear about this Meta Liberation book during the Stain arc at all?
I don't believe so. I know he talked.
See,
I know that he had mentioned something about the Meta Liberation.
I think we learned a little bit about it because when Stain, like when they were all waiting for him to go to the cops, he was like just spewing all that crazy stuff, and they didn't believe anything he said, and he was talking about the Meta Liberation Fund.
And I remember
That's what I was saying.
in season 4 that that guy that like exposed himself and was running into the street was talking about it too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We've only heard about the book. We've never seen the book.
Yeah.
But I do. Oh, I can't say it yet because it hasn't happened yet.
All right.
So I will leave it for the next section.
Brandon, did you have any thoughts on the section we just talked about?
Well, no, just that, like, we saw that guy in the preview, and I thought it was a new character. Although I did think it looked a little like Aizawa. But, I don't know that it sounds like him, really. No. I didn't think it was Dobby, because he was on a laptop, not a phone. But, like, I don't know. One thing I noticed about the character is his hands were, like, really big. And I was, like, trying to remember.
Long-ass hands.
Yeah, I was like, are Aizawa's hands that big?
It could be Dobby in a disguise or something. But I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Dobby doesn't seem like one for disguises. He seems like a guy that wants everyone to know it's him.
Not the credits, the opening. We saw some newer characters.
We saw that dude that looks like the fucking Penguin.
Yeah.
For some reason, the picture of these new people, it made me think of the movie, the first movie, and I was like, no, it's not those people. Yeah. But like, for some reason, my mind went there when I saw them. So I don't know. I don't have too many.
So should we just move on to the next part? Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. So Shoto, Deku, and Bakugo arrive in the city where Endeavor Agency is based. I'm sorry if they actually said the name of the city. I don't remember. They meet up with Endeavor, and Endeavor thinks out loud about wishing that Shoto had come alone and how he reluctantly gave permission because Shoto asked. And it led to a fucking hilarious dialogue where Shoto says, "You gave permission, so don't complain." And Bakugo says, "I thought so since the supplementary classes, but you're kind of cringy." I laughed my ass off when he called him cringy.
We also get validation, all of us, for last week, because when Karshan and Deku
I'm actually going to talk about that next.
Tell All Might that they're going.
Yeah.
All Might thinks it's great for both of them, but especially Bakugo, because he wants him to see Endeavor now.
Yeah,
because he can already see how Endeavor and Bakugo are similar.
Yeah. I do have that written down, but that scene happened after this meeting.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My bad.
So, so Bakugo calls him cringy, and one of my favorite things Endeavor has said so far, Shoto, are you really friends with this boy? I told you to choose your friends carefully.
I was expecting Bakugo to say no.
Yeah.
We're not friends. Because that was his reaction last time.
We're not friends. So all my echoes are sentiments that working with Endeavor will be very beneficial for Bakugo specifically. And I love it when our ideas are solidified in the show. Endeavor breaks away from the group to resolve an issue and tells the kids to watch from the back as he only plans to protect Shoto. Very Bakugo-ish.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's happening is this strange wizard-looking guy, villain.
Oh, I wrote down his name.
Oh, he had a name?
Star Servants.
He had a name.
I
It
thought he
was
was saying...
Enlightened Fallen.
Star
Hold on.
Servant.
No, he was saying that he serves Star Servant.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
name was like Kingdom something.
Hold on, I have it
No,
written
that
down. I
was
just
his
have
move.
to find it.
That was the move he did. The people, when they captured the other people, they said they were just doing whatever he told them to do.
Yeah,
Tim,
his name is Star Servant.
Star
thought,
Server?
I thought they were taking him away when he said that.
They took all of them away.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was called Enlightened Fallen King.
I thought
That-
that the wizard guy was the one talking. That's why I thought he was Star Servant. My bad.
He is.
No. I'm sorry. I thought that the wizard guy was the one talking in that scene, so I thought he said that they all serve Star Servant. I didn't know.
Oh.
No, the Enlightened thing, Bethany, was
Mhm.
his big move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when he made all the glass go in
So
the
yeah,
ball.
so a strange wizardish villain question mark named Star Servant is in the city.
That, like, went.
Hmm?
I was like, is he a hero that went cray?
Yeah.
It seemed kind of strange.
I said that to Tim. It seemed like he was just like a crazy guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they knew him. So I'm like, did
But
he just
then,
an attack Endeavor?
yeah, before Endeavor gets there, he doesn't really say what the evil or darkness is that's coming
Yeah.
that he wants to save the civilians from. But then Endeavor comes and he says that Endeavor is what's going to pull this world down.
Yeah, so that's what makes me
And-
think
Yeah.
that he's just a guy that had like a mental break.
Is
Yeah.
he crazy though? Because we're talking about Dobby. We're talking about him being mastermind.
Yeah.
And in both groups. And obviously
So maybe he was brainwashed.
his hatred and revenge is
yeah.
for Endeavor.
Yeah, so
So
maybe he was brainwashed.
maybe this dude is not crazy.
Yeah. So he talks about how he received a divine message from the universe and that the evil stars are colluding and he'll destroy the source of the darkness. Says Endeavor is the source of the darkness. And this is when Hawks shows up. So Hawks sort of helps them resolve this issue at the... What's the word I'm thinking of?
Peak?
No. Like Endeavor didn't really want it to happen, but he accepted it anyway.
Endeavor was reluctant.
The consequences?
No, like,
Endeavor was reluctant.
yeah, no, I know that's correct, but there's a specific word that I'm trying to think of. Fuck it. At the begrudgment, not begrudgment, but it's sort of like that.
Or like
Chagrin?
Chagrin.
Begrudge-
That's it. Jesus Christ. At the chagrin of Endeavor. He helps.
I was thinking begrudgingly too.
And also, before he helps, Hawks says something to himself, and he says that this is very untimely. Like,
Yeah.
it does not work for what he's doing.
So that to me means he was on his way to see Endeavor anyway. And this shit just happened.
Mhm.
So,
With that specifically,
yeah.
I feel like because he was on like his phone or something when he said that, I kind of feel like Hawks is looking out for the people in the Meta Liberation that are starting to go rogue.
Maybe. I think either that or he was trying to get a hold of Endeavor. Or somebody at the agency or something. Because
He
Endeavor talked about how he told him to tell him when he was coming, and Hawk says that he was just in the neighborhood.
I think that Hawks does not trust the commission to do what is necessary quick enough, and that's why he was talking to Endeavor.
Yeah, I talked with you about that, Tim. I said it seems to me like he's kind of starting to get nervous and wants help from Endeavor, but can't say that.
And it's perfect
Because
we
they're
got these
watching
work studies going on. Bakugo and Deku come, and Endeavor doesn't want anything to do with them. But now, well, I'll say it later.
Yeah.
So we do get this scene where Hawks is showing off the book and tells Endeavor that he should read these highlighted sections that he has. And we learn the name of the leader of the Meta Liberation Army is a person called Destro. And
he not only says to read the highlighted parts, but especially the second
part.
half.
And he says, a society completed by personal responsibility, it goes with the times. And Hawks wants Endeavor to realize how weird and how different he's being. He says that in his head. He's like, please notice how not right this is. Which Endeavor does. And I think it's partly because he's such a well-seasoned hero, and also part because he truly does not trust anyone. So he's always constantly thinking about that. So Hawks gives a copy of the book to all the kids and Endeavor, but Endeavor's copy specifically has these highlighted parts. Things move very quickly at the Endeavor agency. I mean, it's because it's the number one agency, and they deal with over 100 requests a day. We get some cute little humor with Bakugo and the other kids interacting with the sidekicks, talking about how, well, let's go. You get over 100 requests a day, right? Give us one. And they're kind of like, that's not how it works here. Come on, we'll walk you through everything. So the episode winds down with an entire scene that the whole scene is a self-monologue from Endeavor. Talking about how different Hawks was being, and he's thinking about the Meta Liberation, and he reads through the book, and the scene of him reading the book is pretty cool because it like the camera's focused on the book and it moves around the words and it zooms in on the highlighted parts. It's pretty cool.
I watched it on Hulu, so I didn't get any of the words until he started talking about it.
There were no words on Fun.
That's what I thought. I was like, is mine broken?
No.
And my subtitles just stop working?
No,
Yeah.
For that season, for that scene only, they decided to not put the translations in quotes like they do with everything else.
But once we figure out, once Endeavor figures it out, I think it makes a lot of sense as to why they didn't put everything in there.
Like they wanted it to be like a whoa. You know what I mean?
They wanted us to realize with Endeavor what was happening.
Yeah. So the highlighted parts spell out, I think he said the second word of every sentence said, the enemy is the liberation. And then he figures out that means the enemy is the Liberation Army. It numbers over 100,000. And in 4 months, it will rise to action. End scene.
Yeah.
And that is what goes into the week-long break. God damn it.
I do want to say that when I thought it was interesting when Deku introduced himself to Endeavor just gave him the cold stare, and then as we're going to fight, he slyly goes, "It's Shoto's quirk," and then just continuing on fighting. I was like,
I was giving snaps to Deku at that point.
No, Endeavor said that to Deku. I was like, oh, you didn't remember.
Endeavor was using the same line that Deku used at the sports.
I mean, Endeavor's going to be weird with Deku because he 100% knows that there's at least some sort of connection with him and All Might.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also feel like he's going to be weird with him no matter... Sorry, go ahead.
We also didn't talk about Bakugo telling Hawks that he was faster than him. He
I
started
didn't write that down
talking
for some reason.
to the sidekicks, and the sidekick said, "You're not Shoto's son, so I highly doubt you're going to work with him." And Bakugo was pissed, and they said, "You're going to have to earn your spot here because there's a lot of us."
Yeah.
So he said, "Bring it on." Basically, like him and Deku are going to have to challenge these other sidekicks in the next few months or whatever.
Even Shoto, they're like, even though you're Endeavor's kid, like you're still gonna have to show us that you belong here.
Yeah.
Like we're not gonna go easy on you.
Mhm.
Sort of similar to what Tokiyomi went Hawks, or went through with Hawks.
Mhm.
I was a little sad that we didn't see Tokoyami in this episode because he did his work study with Hawks the last time.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it, the more I realized it makes sense because that'd just be putting Tokoyami in danger. And from
Yeah,
everything
I
I've
don't
seen
know,
between those two, there is such a respect that Hawks has for Tokoyami and vice
Oh,
versa
yeah.
that he
Oh,
put him
yeah.
through that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
birds of
and
a feather.
Hawks knew exactly who Deku and Bakugo were because Tokiyomi had told him about them. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
the reputation is there. What I was going to say earlier was him Endeavor figuring out the code, figuring out what's happening, plus the hero studies happening. Endeavor's reluctance to use Bakugo and Deku is going to completely change because he knows that he has to mobilize everyone that is underneath him very soon.
Yeah.
Within
And I
4
think
months.
this like whole legion of metahumans is going to somehow connect to the new movie they're releasing because it just seems like it's like Deku, Bakugo, and Shoto go on a stealth mission, so, and
I
it
was
just
just
seems
saying,
like it's
like,
like all just
I was
falling
going to say
into
to
place.
Beth, I was going to say to Beth, I'm kind of getting the sense that we're not going to see much of the rest of Class A in this arc at all.
I
No,
know. Okay, I'm gonna
It all
backtrack.
depends on what happens whenever they start doing something, because it could have more ramifications than just the city where Endeavor is. It could be the
Yeah.
entire world that we have seen. So
it could be the fight that they're waiting for, that every hero knows is coming, just don't know when.
Yeah, I think we're
Now
going to
Endeavor
see.
it's all happening at this crucial point for all.
Also, I'm gonna say, I personally, out of all of the openings, I think this one is my favorite
Yes.
so far. It was just so like watching Shigaraki just drop his hand. I was
Yeah,
like,
that scene was really cool, where he
Yeah,
looks
I was
up
like,
as
what was
it's
that
like
first
going
one?
into the chorus.
yes, I was like, oh,
Cool.
And
I
I
like
like,
it so much.
how I mentioned it to Tim. I like when it brings up the logo. It's like retro style, and then
Yeah.
pops into the like regular logo.
mhm.
Yeah.
I was
It has
watching
like
that.
that like '90s filter on it.
All of the lights were off, so when it started flashing the blue, I literally like jumped back in my seat. It scared me so bad.
And I like all the parts that are in English. I can sing along to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack a little bit to when we were talking about.
What's
Oh,
that,
sorry.
Bree?
I was just gonna say the song's gonna have to grow on me. I don't really like the song very much, but I like the opening itself.
Mhm.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I'm gonna backtrack a little bit to when we were talking about Hawks. Not, I think it was you, Tim, that said it, but Hawks not fully trusting the commission. So
I don't think you should.
I think Hawks was the one that suggested to the commission to request that all students go back into the work studies, because just from seeing like Tokoyami and what he can do, he knows that Tokoyami has learned a lot from his classmates and his classmates have learned a lot from him. And he's seen
Aw.
what Class 1A can do because they are the most publicized, because unfortunately they get all the shit. So I feel like he needed them out there so they could be prepared for what happens. Because he knows that Shigaraki has a death wish for Deku.
Yeah. I'll also
Also-
say,
Do
Go
we
ahead.
know where All for One was being held? Do we ever find out what city it was?
I don't
I
know
don't
that
know.
we know what city it is. He's just it's some random maximum security place.
Okay, because I don't know what got me thinking about it. I think it was when Tim mentioned it, but we see the collapse of a building, and who we assume and pretty sure it is Shigaraki walking out of the rubble smiling. What if he destroyed the
Oh
building
shit!
that All for One is in?
The prison?
Yeah, because we don't know when. We saw the episode that it's in, but we don't necessarily know when we're going to see the consequences from that.
Yeah, and would he be doing that to get All for One out so that he can transfer the power over, or
At this point, I hope that's true. Because that is an awesome headcanon.
Yes.
And I hope it's real canon.
What I was going to say earlier was I think it was really smart of Hawks to give all of the, like, Shoto, Bakugo, and Deku the books.
It makes it less suspicious.
Yes, and I also believe, well, actually, I can't, like, say for certain, but I think Hawks might know that Shoto and Deku were there for the fight with Stain. Because he was, like,
He probably does.
in the commission. So giving it to those two, they're gonna put the pieces together real
If they
quick.
talk to Tokiomi about
Shoto's
it, Hawks
smart
knows.
And Deku, where he lacks in smarts, he puts so much effort into everything, like his notes and studying, that they are going to figure something out.
Deku would be the one to figure out the message of the second part. He's going to be the one to figure it out.
I was confused by this part a little bit because he gives Endeavor the notebook with the highlights. And he's trying to tell him something without telling him. And then Deku gets all excited about the book and he gives each one of them one.
Mhm.
And I wasn't sure, was that like just to
That was so that the person who planted the micro devices on him doesn't think
Yeah.
that he's just giving the book to Endeavor, the number one hero,
Yeah.
and he's
so that he doesn't think.
something like he's giving them to all the heroes. Like he's
He was
Yeah,
passing it on
because
to all
he's
his
trying to
friends.
recruit.
and I don't know, like, so that was to like for the micro devices or whatever. But he didn't do the highlighted things in Deku's and Shoto's and stuff, right?
No.
Well, he
No.
wouldn't be able to figure it out anyway unless Endeavor gave Deku his version, which he won't. So like I don't know what that like was he saying like, oh, he'll figure it out, but like not having him figure it out? Like I was like confused by that. And also,
He doesn't give a fuck if any of those kids figure it out.
but doesn't he say that Midoriya seems like someone who would figure it out? Doesn't he say that?
Well,
I think
I mean,
he
he
does.
does though. He does though. He does seem like somebody that would figure it out.
He does. He
That's a
doesn't,
good point.
he doesn't give him the highlighted one. So I was like confused.
I don't know that Midoriya
Sometimes
would
you don't
need it.
need the highlights,
Yeah.
That's what I'm
especially when
saying.
you're a super nerd and you're
There's
doing
a-
the highlights yourself. And
No.
But you do bring up a good point. I kind of feel like Hawks gave them the highlighted one because it would make it make sense to give it to everyone instead of just pointing out exactly to Endeavor
Yeah.
about highlighted
These
parts.
are all highlighted.
It
That
would
would be-
make sense. It would make sense to at least give highlighted copies to people working with Endeavor.
And here's the other
Yeah.
question I have then. Is he really giving this book to other heroes because he wants to get other people to know more than just Endeavor?
no, he said that just so they would think that he
Okay.
is.
'Cause
That
that's
was
what I'm-
purely for
Or-
the feed.
Or Hawks is giving it to people that he trusts. Like, I can definitely see him giving one to Aizawa
Oh, absolutely.
and Nezu.
And Nezu.
See, this is why I personally don't think Hawks is a bad person, because even in, like, the end scene where he's flying away, he said, I really hope that he understands the message and that he understands what's going to happen, because in 4 months, they're going to be mobile.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think
like,
Hawk is a bad person because of a lot of reasons, but that's another good one. But also, he's good at his job. So the fact that you and I could say he's good, and John can be on the fence, and Michaela can be completely against him. And Brianna, I don't really know what you said.
I've said
But-
multiple times I don't think he's bad.
Right. I'm sorry. It's late. I'm talking to 4 people. But that just means he's doing his job good.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
even
go ahead.
even the end credit, like it shows a little bit of Hawks. It shows
Yeah.
Hawks as a kid.
Well, yes, at
Are
the
we
very
going-
beginning of the,
So
of
are
the-
we?
it's like you see that little doll of Endeavor and
Mhm.
on the ground, and I'm like, Hawks had that when he was little, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't show little Hawks until like later on in the credits. So I'm like, wow, the whole credits is a lot about Hawks.
Yeah. So it's like,
Because-
are we gonna see Hawks' backstory somewhere along in this arc?
I
The
hope so.
person, the hand that picks it up is not a kid's hand; it's a grown-up's hand. So I'm thinking it might have been like his dad.
Maybe.
But I keep thinking of things about the commission, but I kind of feel
Okay.
like someone at
Are you
the
okay?
commission is in the allegiance of the metas. I kind of feel like it's compromised that way because I am pretty sure that earlier when we first learned about Hawks and the commission, they said that they had put like comms on him and a tracker device because he grew up
Yeah,
in the
and they talked about we got that whole scene of them talking to who I assume were his parents about how he had to be with them and had to be cultivated by the commission because of the power that he displayed at such a young age.
what did you say, Bethany? The allegiance of metas? What's that? Did I miss something?
No, I can't remember the like meta liberation thing.
Oh, I don't think. I was trying to look up to see if Stain mentioned that, and every time I search it, nothing really is coming up. So I don't think he did, because the Liberation Front is about not having regulations on heroes, and Stain was like, heroes, there aren't that many
or a
real.
menace or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that Stain mentioned it. I just think around that time period,
Is when we first started
they were
hearing about it.
talking.
Yeah, well, the book,
somebody meant something had to be mentioned
the
because
book is old. I think the book is old.
Mhm.
And it was written by someone who had this idea a long time ago or something. And
It seems
it's
like
reversing and getting a movement
yeah.
happen, right? And that's
it
what we're
seems to me that it's essentially a manifesto.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, like I think like when Stain was going with his ideology, maybe like the police or the commission or All Might and people were like comparing him to that book or something like that.
because yeah.
But I kind of feel like his
related to it, yeah.
I kind of feel like his like viewpoint in a sense kind of went along with the book because although the book went along with like not having regulations on like heroes and stuff like that, Stain was very much about finding those that actually counted as heroes that could have that title. So
Yeah.
like he was trying to find the ones that would actually be true enough to not have those limitations.
Like Slide and Go.
Not like Slide and Go.
So when I was looking this stuff up, I was just like skimming stuff, so I like would see like a few words here and there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that like the Liberation and the League of Villains, even though Dobby presented them to Hawks as something he needs to be aligned with in both ways, I don't think they're together. I think that the League of Villains and the Liberation Front are going to fight each other.
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear that Shigaraki does not like Dobby at all.
No. Because
Never
he can't
has.
control
Well, Dobby didn't
But
really.
we cannot forget how smart and cunning Shigaraki was with Overhaul and the Yakuza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used them up until the very end and played the fool and took everything from them for
Yeah.
his game.
Yeah.
So he
That's why I
could
want that
be
Shigaraki Dobby fight, dude.
using the Meta Liberation Front for the same thing.
True.
True.
Because the League of Villains wants destruction and chaos and heroes to be gone. They don't want metas to be regulated or any of that shit. The Meta Liberation Front has, you could say they're wrong, you could say they're right. They have a set belief system.
And they have
Shigaraki,
villains
on the
and
other
heroes
hand, is
on their
just
side.
like, fuck
Hey.
all of you. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like the Meta Liberation has heroes and villains on their side.
Hmm.
They would.
The last thing that I'll
Every
say,
revolution does.
Maybe Monoma's part of that.
what happened?
He's not part of the League of Villains, but he's the
Who?
one in
What are you
like
talking
the
about?
Monoma.
Who are you talking about? Oh, okay.
The annoying one.
Yeah, I said maybe
No.
Monoma's part of the Liberation rather than the
The
League of
last
Villains.
thing that I'll say is that I wish that this week was the break, because last week I was like, yay, it was a fun Christmas time. And this week was pain and despair. So
Yeah.
I will say, I
I
wish
don't
that they
think it
would
was
have
pain
held
and
it up.
despair. I think it was more of setting up for what could be pain and despair.
It's going to be, according to manga readers.
I'm
We got to
upset
get
we
ready.
didn't.
We gotta get ready.
I'm upset we didn't get to find out what class Shinso is in.
We will.
Yeah.
We
Because,
will.
like-
It'll probably happen after this arc. Honestly.
I know.
Who knows? He might not even get into a class. He might just go to war.
Yeah, and there might not be any classes, like the last parts of Harry Potter.
The school's gone.
No, but like I kind of thought we'd find out before.
You're on break forever. No.
I kind of thought we'd find out before all of the work studies happened, so he could have that in-field experience. Because no matter which class he's going into, one, he's going to have to be a part of it, and two, whatever's happening, he's going to most definitely be a part of, because he's getting into that hero course. It's already been determined that he got in. We
Yeah,
just
he got
don't know
in.
what class.
Yeah.
But everyone also
If we're going to like wonder about Shinso and his future, I'll say this: I think that we're not going to find a conclusion to what class he goes into because of this oncoming Meta Liberation war type deal. I do think, however, Aizawa is one of the top heroes. I've never seen him in an agency or with sidekicks.
Yeah.
Shinso is going to be right alongside Aizawa in the field.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like when he goes out, when Eraserhead goes out, Shinso will be with him, even though he doesn't have an agency because he's a teacher, 24/7. But they call on him when they need him to be.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the teachers themselves are their own agency,
Yeah.
because their like main purpose is to like protect the students and protect the school.
Yeah, and they also definitely do get called out to like big jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have like amateurs teaching students.
No, not at all.
No.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Good episode.
Yeah.
Can you recap what happens in the preview? I don't really remember that part.
I
The
think that's
preview-
just like Bakugo and Deku and the
Choto.
and the all of them and the sidekicks kind of like
Yeah, it doesn't really show much.
duke
Yeah.
they're gonna like duke it out or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like the main thing that I picked up was Deku saying that they were like him, Bakugo, and Shoto were given stuff that they personally needed to work on so they could become better heroes.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember if anything else was said, because I know we saw Endeavor at the end of the preview, but I can't remember what it said.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap it here. The next time you see us will be either July 11th or 12th, because they're on a break next week. As always, you got to do it. You got to remember to go beyond.
Plus,
Plus Ultra!